ships to those who destroy the ships of others. And if the like takes place in all things, we ought not to commit our safety to those who have badly attended to the safety of others. And as Alcidamas says, That all men honour the wise. For the Parians honour Archilochus, though he blasphemed them. And the Chians honour Homer, though he was not their fellow citizen. And the Mitlennans Sappho, though she was a woman. The Lacedaemonians also, though they were in the smallest degree philologists, made Chilo one of their senators. The Italians likewise honoured Pythagoras. And the Lampsini buried Anaxagoras, though he was a stranger, and honour him even now. Again, the Athenians by using the laws of Solon were happy, and the Lacedaemonians by using those of Lycurgus. The city of the Thebans also, as soon as philosophers were their governors, became happy. Another place is derived from the judgment made about the same, or a similar, or a contrary thing. And this indeed is especially the case if it is the judgment of all men, and always, but if not, if it is the judgment of most men, or of all, or the greater part of wise men, or of good men, or if it is the decision of those who are judges, or of those whom the judges approve, or of those against whom there is no judgment to be given, as of princes, or of those whose judgment it is not becoming to oppose, such as the gods, a father, or preceptors. But of this place there are many examples, and one is what Autocles said against Mixidemides, If it were well indeed for the venerable goddesses, the Furies, to plead their cause in the Areopagus, can it be improper for Mixidemides to do so? Another is what Sappho said, That to die is an evil, for the gods have judged it to be so, since otherwise they themselves would die. Another is what Aristippus said against Plato, asserting something as he thought too positively. But our associate, said he, meaning Socrates, affirms no such thing. Another example is that of Agesipolis, who at Delphi inquired of the god Apollo, having prior to this consulted the oracle of Jupiter Olympus, Whether the son was of the same opinion as the father, as if it were shameful for a son to dissent from his father. Another is that of Isocrates concerning Helen, who shows that she was a worthy character, because Theseus judged her to be so, and who also says the same thing of Paris, because the goddesses preferred his judgment to that of other men. He likewise asserts that Evagoras was a worthy character, because Conon, when his affairs were adverse, leaving every one else, came to Evagoras. Another place is from the enumeration of parts, as in the Topics, where it is inquired, What kind of motion the soul is, for it is either this or that, viz. It must either be the motion which is a change in quality, or relation, or argumentation, or generation. An example of this place is from Theodex, in his oration in defence of Socrates when he was accused by the judges, What temple has Socrates violated? And what gods has he not reverenced among those whose honours are legally established by the city? Another place is from consequent good or evil. For since in most things it happens that some good and evil are consequent to them, we may employ consequent good for the purpose of persuading, praising, and defending, but consequent evils for the purpose of dissuading, blaming, and accusing. Thus for instance, we may blame literary pursuits, because envy is consequent to erudition, which is an evil, and we may also praise them, because they are attended with wisdom, which is a good. Hence, in the former case, we may say that it is not proper to acquire erudition, because it is not proper to be envied, but in the latter, that it is proper to acquire erudition, for it is requisite to be wise. In this place the art of the rhetorician Callippus consists, To which he added what pertains to the possible, and other things, of which we have already spoken. Another place is, when about two things, and those opposed to each other, it is requisite either to exhort or dissuade, and to use the before mentioned place in both ways. But it differs from that place in this, that there casual things are opposed, but here contraries only. Thus for instance, a certain priest would not suffer his son to speak in public, For if, said he, you speak what is just, men will hate you, but if what is unjust, the gods. It is necessary, however, on the other hand to speak in public. For if you speak what is just, the gods will love you, but if what is unjust, men will love you. This, however, is the same thing with the saying of buying oil and salt. And this argument may be retorted, when to each of two contraries good and evil are consequent, each being contrary to each. Another place is, because the same things are not praised openly and secretly, but just and beautiful things are especially praised openly, and privately men are more inclined to praise what is advantageous. One of these, therefore, we must endeavour to collect, for this place is the most principal of paradoxes. Another place is derived from analogy, and was used by Iphicrates. For when the Athenians wished to compel his younger son, because he was large, to engage in public service, Iphicrates said, That if great boys were to be considered as men, little men should be decreed to be boys. And Theodex in the law said, You have made mercenaries, such as Strabuses and Charidemus, citizens on account of their probity, but you have not made exiles of those among the mercenaries who have acted nefariously. Another place is, when, in consequence of the same thing following from two things, it is shown that the things from which it happens to follow are the same. As when Xenophanes said, That those were similarly impious who assert that the gods were generated, and those who assert that they die. For in both ways it happens that at a certain time the gods do not exist. And in short, that which happens from each is always to be assumed as the same. This place was also used by some one in the defence of Socrates, for he said, You are about to pass sentence, not on Socrates, but on his pursuit, whether it be requisite to philosophize. And it may be said, That to give earth and water is to become slaves, and that to participate of common peace is to do what is commanded to be done. But whichever of these is useful must be assumed. Another place is derived from this, that the same men do not always choose the same thing in a posterior or prior time, but conversely, as in this enthymeme, If when we were exiles we fought, in order that we might return, shall we, having returned, fly in order that we may not fight? For at one time the Athenians chose to fight, that they might return to their country, and at another time they were unwilling to leave their country, lest they should be obliged to fight. Another place is, when we affirm any thing to have been done on account of some cause, through which it might have been done, though it was not in reality done through it, as if one man should give something to another, in order that by afterwards taking it away, he may give him pain. Hence also it is said in a certain tragedy, The demon gives great prosperity to many, yet not with a benevolent intention, but in order that they may receive more conspicuous calamities. And in the Meleager of Antiphon, who, that he might praise Meleager, says, There was a concourse of people from all Greece, not for the purpose of killing the boar, but that they might be witnesses of the valour of Meleager. Another example is from the Ajax of Theodex, in which it is said, That that Diomed preferred Ulysses as.